started with a residency after a very rigorous process of identifying these 20 artivists from a pool of about 500 artivists. And after the 1-week residency program, they have been attending weekly mentorship sessions through our consultant.
Today's session has been really eye-opening. We've been discussing on how digital technology can enhance how we see and share impact in activism. And the reason why we had such an amazing conversation is the fact that digital technology in the essence has evolved, and there's a revolution around the 4th Industrial Revolution currently. And this revolution will fundamentally impact how activism is going to be distributed and shared. It's increasingly important for these young individuals to understand that this technology is here as an enabler and not a disabler.
I have interacted with the fellows from cohort 2, just trying to expand the civic space in terms of using art for social change. And this comes through handy in topics like financial autonomy, whereby these artists need to be sustainable in their efforts to expand the civic space and use poetry, music, and performance art for social change.
So it's my first time doing a very long piece, a documentary known as Not Yet Uhuru. And when I was writing that piece, I was anxious because, stories za kupost, YouTube, nini. I didn't know that people will like it or they watch it. But for me, we are trying to tackle the question of what next? What next after Gen Z protest? What next after the fellowship? What next after learning? What next after the interaction? And I came up with a piece known as Not Yet Uhuru, a 13-minute piece, a documentary about the things that happened before, during and after Gen Z protest.
ForumCiv, like wase kuna prize nyingine Gen Z ama the whole Kenya juu anyway system yezi solve hizo contradictions, nini ita happen. So nikadu piece inaitwa Workers Unite, nini ita happen. Na the other piece nilidu ilikuwa inaitwa Angalia, like nilikuwa najaribu kupoint out zile injustices like wase wanaweza relate nazo. Ukisikia story ya Mukuru kwa Jenga, ukisikia story ya kila ghetto, kila mtaa mahali place wase wambomolewa, stories za floods. So hizi pieces zime come out of reflection ya struggle ya wase.
June 25th is the name of the album. It is an album that tries to put the events of June 25th as well as the demonstrations that took place between June and August of this year in context. I try to humanize some of the characters who went through a part of the demonstrations.
After a residential session, nimekuwa nikiwork on my project. Is an audio inaitwa Tuko Sawa. Yeah, as an artist with albinism, nime focus more in using my talent to advocate and to create awareness about persons with disability. So Tuko Sawa ni song inaongelea sisi sote, whether you are black or white, whether you are tall or short, whether you are on wheelchair or unatembea. Yeah, it's just a reminder that we are all equal. Hakuna mwenye ako better than the other.
I did an art installation called the Red Shoe Art Installation. This was inspired by a concept that we learned during the residency, where we were taught that all oppression is connected. We collected 100 shoes from the community and had conversations about femicide from each person donating the shoes, and also just some of the shoes were donated by families of the victims of femicide, and we were able to bring the shoes together. Then we painted the shoes and showcased it in our public place. We showcased it in Kisumu Social Hall, and we had a group of people coming and having those conversations. It was a full day installation, and we actually had a community conversation of the current situation on ground and build it up to what's next, like what would a better society look like for women.
Beneath Her Veil is a project that I'm mostly talking about stories of women that have undergone sexual assault. And when I was looking at sexual assault, I was looking at it in different dimensions, not only the sexual part of it, not only the physical part of it, but also the emotional, the verbal, And this project came to be because I have experienced these things, from catcalling, from being assaulted, and it got to a time where I was like, I want to share this, I want to share my own story, and I want to allow more women to also share their stories. So I did a poetry mini documentary where it's an infusion of poetry and also interviews, but also in the interviews people are just sharing their stories and saying, you know, and encouraging also like more women to put their stories out there.
In my project, I've done 3 pieces. The first one inaitwa Ua. So Ua is a symbolic piece. So Ua represents all the women in our society, the ones who we've lost and the ones that are still impacting the society. So I've done Ua. It's a piece about femicide, just talking about the women we've lost and like generally how the society is becoming more and more misogynistic, and if we do not speak about it, we'll keep on losing more women. The second piece is called Zuzu. So basically Zuzu is about the current political position we are as a country, like the extrajudicial killings that have been happening, the illegal arrests that have been happening, where there's a lot of corruption in the country and nothing is being done. Basically, Zuzu is a reflection of that. Then the last piece is called Nisisi. Nisisi, basically, I'm stepping into the shoes of a politician and I'm speaking as a politician, and it's a bit ironical and satirical.
I decided to do a project called Sister Darling. It's an EP with 5 pieces in it. And basically, the Sister Darling concept is an annual poetry show I ran with the Freedom in Healing team, where we do poetry to just better reimagine what gender equality looks like. We tell the stories of the African woman, the ones who were, the ones who are, and those that are yet to come. So the 5 pieces were chosen from the 3 different seasons that we have had so far, because I honestly feel like we need to continue to further the stories of women as authentically and as honestly as they happen to us. And I also am a very firm believer that change comes when we tell our stories. And who better to tell our stories than ourselves?
I was inspired by my community, my personal life story, where we see in the film, my project was a film, we find there is this young boy who witnesses his mother being raped, which that thing ilimfanya akawa na trauma kubwa. So I felt like watoto wanakuanga na trauma zenye watu hawapendi kuongelea, zenye wao zinakuja zina affect in their adulthood life. So nika feel it's good we speak out, ndio pia wazazi wajue kuwa vitu zenye wanaweza fanya wakiwa kama wazazi zinaweza affect watoto wao hadi wakiwa grow.
The project that I've been working on during the fellowship is in 2 folds. The first is a video art documentary, and the second is an exhibition of 8 paintings that are right behind me. The documentary really kind of talks about what is next in our revolution using 4 visual chapters. The first one is on the artist and really explaining what is the role of the artist in the revolution, in the pursuit of change. The second chapter is on the 4 crusaders, which is really inspired by the 4 horsemen, the four horsemen of the apocalypse in the Bible. So bringing that change into the society, where we look at the red bloom inspired by the colors in the flag. We have the black print for the people and the organic movement. We have the white trumpet representing the digital activism and amplifying our message. And we have the green book really emphasizing on the constitution and supremacy in everything we do. Then the third chapter is going to be about the flag, the liberated flag, and how it's a symbol of our unity and coming together. And finally, the last chapter, the game, which kind of uses chess as a metaphor to show the next move we should be making, what we should be thinking about, what actions to take in the future.
I have been working on new technologies that we've learned about in the fellowship to see how I can elevate my work, make it more immersive, and present more opportunities for collaboration. So I have this booklet here that outlines my various works that I've worked on integrating augmented reality to the pieces. And yeah, I have collaborated on a few pieces with the people in the fellowship that has helped really make the messaging very cohesive.
For the past 5 years, something that I've learned in that fellowship, and I think will help me going forward in the next phase of my career. And I've been working on a project which is titled, from a body of work which I'm currently researching, it's called Trying to Blossom. So in Trying to Blossom, I'm trying to search on these things that really hinder us from blossoming. So I've made artworks behind me, which are speaking about that. So I'm like addressing the whole issue of how all oppression is connected in one artwork. So I've made 2 artworks for the presentation of this project, and I've used charcoal and pastel, and I've really done it like represent like the whole spectrum of struggles that we are facing, like providing the struggle and providing the way to like move forward with it, like not to hinder us, like something that we can do to make it better.
I did 2 murals, one for climate change and one for femicide. So basically how I came up with the project, things that are happening around. I came up with sketches because I noticed there were very many artists in fact, and every artist was doing a different project. So I feel I'll be unique if I did the murals. So I did the murals, one in Mathare and another one in Kayole. So they were all speaking about femicide and climate change.
The story is not only because of my community, but it talks about the children that are far away from my community but are also affected by these disasters. And also I did 2 murals. One mural was talking about femicide. I was trying to diverse the message of femicide not only as partner-to-partner relationship, but also climate change is affecting and also increasing femicide. As we see, Africa is among the most vulnerable to climate change and also the highest in femicide rates. As you see, an increase in food insecurity, flooding, heat waves, and also income losses. This increases the chances of women being exposed to violence.
The project I've been working on, first and foremost, is a 3-track EP yenye imeguzia topics za mental wellness, creative economy, hapo financial freedom ya wasanii. Pia tumegusia mambo ya mazingira, hivi environment. Unajua lazima to protect our environment.
As part of the Artivism Fellowship project, this is what I've been working on. It's called Kiocha Jamii, which is a poetry album. It has 11 tracks in it, and I tackle a number of themes including gender-based violence, police brutality, poor governance, mental health, and so on. I'm so passionate about this project because it has been my baby for quite a while, and from the funding throughout the project, I was able to execute this album.
The project that I was working on is titled People's Power. So People's Power is a 3-track compilation. Ya kwanza inaitwa The King is Naked, second inaitwa People's Power, na ya tatu inaitwa ABCD, African Black Citizen Democracy. We also, due to the uprising of the Gen Z movement that led to the rejection of the finance bill and even sparked conversation rather within and the broader African aspect. So I felt being a responsible citizen of this country and calling into active citizen participation. So I came up with the project. The recording process ilikuwa poa sana. Privileged to work with the best people in this country, be the tech team, my cameraman, hizo mentorship sessions ilikuwa poa.
Artivism is a powerful tool, and by partnering with ForumCiv as a development agency, we are able to together really build a community of activists that can speak positively into the concerns in our country and that are able to then cause change in the issues that are of concern in our country today.